Good morning, Sense of Things crowd. It is Jeff and Ron here again for another Sense of Things update for the week. Welcome to the week after the Easter holiday and the week before Eclipse USA. Ron, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm waiting for all the religious zealots that believe the eclipse is part of Armageddon and the end of the world.
Wasn't it a few years ago with the Mayan eclipse thing or the Mayan thing that, oh, it was the world was ending? Maybe not. Maybe we misread that.
I don't know. You get another Heaven's Gate situation with the eclipse and other things. So what are you going to do? All right,
I
where
don't
would you
know.
like to start?
Let's start with that very thing. Let's take a look at our eclipse update here. So for those of you that have been in a cloud or in a cave, here's
Or both?
upcoming eclipse. So this is what the swath of it is. So Ron's way over here, so he's not getting much eclipse.
The middle of the state, sir. There you
Right
go.
there. Okay, there we go. So Ron's right here. I'm right here. So you would think I'm going to get a great eclipse shot. The entire state of Texas is going to be covered in clouds. And most of these folks are going to be covered in clouds and rainstorms and everything else. So it's not going to be the great American eclipse that most of us are going to see. From what I understand, it's really just up here around Cleveland, Watertown, New York, Burlington, Vermont, that they're actually going to have clear skies and they'll actually get to see the eclipse. I believe that this will be the last one for another 30 years or something like that.
Crazy. Yeah, I remember one about 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a partial.
Yeah, I remember one when I was a kid. I think when I was in maybe junior high school, maybe elementary school. I remember it happening, but yeah, I really don't pay much attention to it. But
And make sure you get the right glasses. Apparently, there's a lot of counterfeit fake glasses for eclipse. They said that you could go blind. Who knows?
Watching the stupid eclipse.
Yeah, you can't use regular sunglasses. You got to use ones that basically a blind person would need to wear. That's from what I heard and understand, but who knows?
I was able to get mine through, I mean, they're everywhere around town, but I was able to get mine through Walmart when I bought a TV the other day. So I have the Walmart one. So hopefully they're not some cheap Chinese thing that's going to cause me to go blind.
Oh, I'm sure they are, but that's okay.
Just quickly, while I've got my screen shared, once again, really quiet week in the markets, really quiet week when it comes to our what's going on in the economic calendar and everything else. But we did have a couple of interesting reports this week. First of which was the ISM Manufacturing Index. Briefing.com had a consensus of 48.5. It's really been below. So the 50 number is expansionary, meaning that we're in an expansion for that index. Below that is considered we're in a contractionary phase. Yep. So the ISM Manufacturing Index, which we've talked about multiple times, has been below 50 for somewhere going on, I think, 2.5 years, September of 2022. And this was the first time we've seen it go into expansionary phase. So that's an interesting thing. And then, of course, we had the ISM non-manufacturing.
And by the way, very quickly,
yeah,
manufacturing is the one sector that has been leading most of the other sectors in layoffs.
Which is intriguing to me that it's moving in the right direction all of a sudden.
And manufacturing is one of the most labor-intensive industries. So how can you be expanding if you're laying off people?
Once again, it's
another conundrum.
Fortunately, this is a private organization and not a governmental organization. So I believe their numbers a little bit more than some of the stuff that comes out of our governmental agencies. I think they fudge a little bit more, or their data is terrible. So the non-manufacturing, so think of this as the service industry businesses, it still came in at 51.4, but it's been on a contractionary direction for several months now. And the services sector is our largest sector in the country. So this is something that we do need to start paying some attention to. Both of them are in expansionary mode, which is, it's good for the world. It's good for everything. But if we start to see the service sector side continue on this trend, it may easily blow through 50 and go into the contractionary.
And if AI takes full effect in about 10 years, that'll be down to 40.
Yeah, it really will. Productivity will go through the roof, and you're just going to have non-payrolls.
Hey, we'll
Or
get
you're going
down
to
to that
have
4-hour work week.
Yeah, or you're going to have California. They just put into place this week that 20-hour or $20 an hour for
Yeah, your $15 Big Mac. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's probably going to be a $20 Big Mac before it's all
Well,
over
they're
with.
saying lower income people can't afford McDonald's anymore.
Yeah. Where are they going to go? It's okay.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, go to Taco Bell, and that's going to be
Oh yeah, doesn't matter.
that's
All fast food.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a franchise too. So they're going to have to pay it. And it's funny because the argument I heard was, well, but this is only these, big franchises and all that. And I was like, you do realize that those big franchises are owned by little businesses, little small businesses. Not all of them have to pay that. Yes, but if somebody's paying $20 and I'm paying 15, I'm not going to be able to find employees to work at my place.
It's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
If I pay you more, that means my cost goes up, which means I have to charge more, which means the consumer pays more, and then we have more inflation.
Yep.
So then what do you got to do? Then I got to pay you more so you can afford the goods. So the consumer pays more, and it's just going around.
It's just chase. And we went from what, $8 an hour or $7.50 an hour a few years ago.
There's an old expression. I think we probably brought it up once before.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're a ditch digger.
Yeah.
If that's what you're meant to do, there's a price for that, right? You can't be a CEO of Disney, right? That's not your calling. You're a ditch digger. There's a price for that. Why are we as consumers responsible for paying you 2 to 3 times the amount? Because we feel bad that's all you're capable of doing and being paid to afford in life.
The other reality of it though is, okay, many times those jobs, especially fast food jobs, were held by kids that were living at home.
Part-time.
They didn't need $20 an hour. It's not like they're paying for mortgages and all that type of stuff. You got to start someplace. And what you're doing now is you're basically ensuring that people have no career path at all. They have no incentive to go anywhere else because they're making $20 an hour.
No, but many people will move up into managerial roles, and that is a career role, and I get that. But we're not talking about pay for managers.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody taking your order.
Yes.
We're talking about somebody fries, for lack of a better, flipping burgers and making fries. I get that, but look, it's not going to get better. You can't go the other way. Once the toothpaste comes out of the tube, you can't put it back in.
Nope. And you can't.
California, by far, there's a reason why there's an exodus from California.
Yeah.
Right. It's beautiful, the state as it is, and I was born there. Can't live there.
No. The fast food career
there goes our California audience. What can I tell you?
Yeah, the fast food path. I always think of the movie Coming to America. Right now, I'm washing lettuce. Pretty soon, I'll be on
Louis
fries.
Anderson.
Then I become a manager or an assistant manager, and that's where the big bucks start rolling in.
Louis Anderson was so great back then.
He's the greatest ever.
He is. All right. Was that all you wanted to cover?
That's it. Now? Yeah, I don't really have anything else. It's
all right.
Pretty quiet week.
Yeah, so I have some fun stuff. So let's take a little bit of a right turn.
Wow.
From our bad product design. And let's go back to last October when we were having fun with some favorite mugshots. So yes, folks, these are the people that live among us. And on his right cheek is, I think that's the Monster Beverage logo.
There and on his
left cheek, I don't know if that's the Nike logo or not.
It has a Nike-esque look. I mean, he could probably be sued for copyright infringement. He's probably or trademark infringement. He has it, but it's a hook or a swoosh.
Here's the other thing too. I've never had a tattoo. I'll never get a tattoo. I think there are some tattoos on people that are very nice, but I got to ask, that has got to hurt to get a tattoo across the Adam's apple.
Yeah, I have one on my ankle, and literally going around. So it encircles my ankle. It's a Hawaiian tattoo. And I will tell you, after having many pieces of pain in my life, there was nothing more painful than them tapping a whale skin bone or a whale bone into my leg right at the Achilles heel. It felt literally like somebody was sawing my foot in half. So
Oh God. There
yeah.
was a rumor going around. Your wife mentioned that you were going to get your company logo as a tramp stamp. Is that true?
Yeah, that's the next one. We'll do the little Freedom Day on the back. I'm liking that.
Nice. All right, let's keep it
Or just
going.
maybe right across the forehead. Whoa,
Just to let
bad
you know,
news.
all these mugshots had a name and the county they were arrested in. I took that out.
All right.
This lady happens to have been arrested in my county.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm not everybody's going to wear that orange jumpsuit, but obviously it was a long night for the missus.
Apparently, either she was riding in the sidecar without a helmet or fell off a cliff. Not sure.
I don't know. I always believe for ladies, makeup is to enhance, not to improve.
Yes.
She could use a little help.
She
I'm
could
just saying.
get up there.
Now I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I don't know whether these are fake contacts or what, but
That's the
this
creepiest
is
looking
pretty
thing I've
freaking
ever seen.
scary.
That is the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
It
Like I
looks
said,
like
it
the
rivals
eyes.
some of the ones we had in October. We'll have to do that again for next Halloween.
Yeah,
And for the last one, I don't know if I want this guy showing up at the PTA meeting at the elementary school. Read his forehead.
my
My
monsters
monsters
are
are
real.
real.
Okay. All righty
What,
then.
what are you saying here?
And
Or maybe it's enough said.
so he is arrested for alleged domestic assault and battery by strangulation and domestic assault and battery. Wow. And he's got the two little teardrops there, which typically signify that you've killed two people at that point.
Oh,
So,
is that what that means?
yep.
I thought it means I'm crying for you or something like.
No,
But he
it
has such
typically.
kind and genuine eyes.
Yeah. What is the other? Does it say rebel across
I
his
think so,
left
yeah.
eye? And then he's got the weird
Oh,
spider.
then in his left ear, it's a spider going towards the ear that has a tattoo of a web.
Yeah, that's just disgusting and weird. Okay. And
Yeah.
then he's got some kind of weird.
Hopefully
I
none of these people track us down. But what can I tell you? Hey, this is all out on the internet. What can I tell you?
I think most of these folks are probably still in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. This is in the last month.
Okay.
All right. So we brought this up a couple of times last year, and these are, if you take a look at it year by year, this is how sectors have performed by year. And you
Mm.
can see there's cyclicality to it, there's seasonality to it. And you always want to look at the underperforming set, the bottom four underperforming sectors, because usually they rise to the top in the next year.
Yeah.
Healthcare this year came out of the gate flying in the first 4 to 6 weeks and then really petered down in the last week. A lot of the main healthcare companies have really pulled back.
Mm.
And I thought it was interesting because I believe that this year healthcare is going to be one of the top winners, top two, top
Yeah.
three sectors. And it's pulled back now. It's to a point where I think it's near a trough level. But here's the interesting thing. This is just the healthcare seasonality by month over a 20-year range.
Okay.
And if you take a look at it, that, usually the June, July timeframe is the buy. And the reason why I researched this is because I heard a market strategist last week say, hold off on the healthcare sector until the summertime. And I did a little dog ear. What?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why June, July? I don't know.
Yeah.
But here it is, a 20-year chart showing that June, July is typically a good time frame to get into healthcare. So this
Well, and
is
it would
something
make
to keep
sense.
my eye on to because
Yeah.
I have a group of clients that I said that we're gonna get into the healthcare. We want to wait for a good price to get in.
Mm.
Obviously, we know what's happened in the first 3 months, but we're going to keep an eye on this going into June. I don't know. I wanted to get your thoughts before I
Yeah. I
moved
mean,
on.
it's interesting to me that there's this huge dip off in March, like from February to March. I don't understand what.
March is typically a down month in the market, period.
Yeah, but I mean, it just why healthcare would be like pulled back so much at that point, and then why it just steadily rises throughout the rest of the year makes no sense to me. But these are the type of things that you just pay attention to, and it can give you that. I mean, you could even argue the point you could wait until the late July or even into August and just let it do its thing or whatever if you don't have that other drop down in the fall there in October from September
Yeah,
to
and I
October.
think it's interesting. because October timeframe and early November is typically open enrollment in large
Yeah.
enterprise organizations. And then you can see what happens right after open enrollment. It goes parabolic.
Yeah.
I honestly, I will say, I've never paid this close attention to it, but every chart tells a story, as we say,
Yeah.
and this is telling an interesting
That's very
story.
intriguing. I'll keep an eye on that this year because it's intriguing to me
And we'll
to,
revisit it. Why
yeah.
not? So anyway, I got two other slides here on seasonality across indices
Mhm.
and in different sectors. So you can see here, even with healthcare, it's showing a very similar time frame, right?
Mhm.
April kind of takes off through December. But I think that it's interesting. This is obvious. Utilities obviously do well during the summer
Yeah.
months, right? So
Yeah.
this is an easy one. Even energy, okay, I can see a spike during the summer.
Yeah. That travel
Why,
month.
yeah, why it's not good at any other year? We need gas in our cars, and
Well,
some of these
but
things I
then
don't
it's, yeah,
understand, but this is
January through
historical.
May. Okay, so typically there's not a whole lot of travel during that time period. You may have a little bit of spring breaky time in there, but why it wouldn't be most of the summer is the strange thing for me.
Yeah, and because it rhymes, you hear this every year, even though it's got only like a 35% chance of
Yeah.
following through, which is sell in May and go away,
Hmm.
right? And people said if you've done that, it only worked like 30 to 35% of the
Yeah.
time. But I think it's interesting if you take a look at how many sectors come out of the gate very well through May.
Yep.
I think that's interesting
And then
between
it kind
energy,
of, well, it's
materials, and
interesting.
industrials.
It shifts to like the super defensive industries during the summer. So you got consumer staples, healthcare, utilities, basically all summer where you get your performance there, and even energy, which you and I both agree. I don't invest in energy because it's just manipulated at that point. And it's interesting with utilities, there's really just that very small little swath of window that they do decent, and the
But
rest of the
here's
time they
interesting, right?
suck.
Consumer staples, these are things that we need every day,
Yeah.
right? Food and materials, whatever it is. Why April through November? Is
Yeah.
that because those are the warmer months through the majority of the year, and warmer months in the South and the Southeast and West, that we're just consuming more?
I don't know.
I don't know
Yeah.
either. Look, data doesn't
It
lie,
may be
right?
the
This is
barbecue
real
index.
news.
People eat, yeah, people eat a lot more barbecue and a lot of more barbecue beans, and they need consumer staples during that time period. I don't know. And they're eating a lot more barbecue and hot dogs and stuff like that, and they need more health care during that time period too.
But it is showing too, if you're heavy in these five sectors,
Yeah.
financial, which I'm not a big proponent of for investing, those top four, it should
Mm.
be interesting to see what happens in the next
Yeah.
6 weeks. Are we going to continue to rise, or are we going to step in a pothole with some of it?
Yeah.
And
And then,
just looking at now, breaking it down into specific industries,
okay.
I got to tell you, the biggest one to me that I don't get or understand, airlines and autos. Why does autos have a 3.5 month time frame when they do very well?
Yeah.
And airlines, okay, January through May 4th, okay, people are getting out of the winter, spring break. I
Mm.
get that. Nobody travels as
In
much
the
during the
summer.
summertime. And then here's interesting, during the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, people are traveling. Why do all of a sudden after December 5th, that sector doesn't do well?
Hmm.
So there are some
Well,
little anomalies here that I'm not connecting the dots on.
so here's my thought though. Is this how the stocks are doing at those time periods?
These are the sector industries as far as I think when they're peaking,
Okay.
right? Because I think when we're not seeing the color time frame,
Yeah.
that's when they're ebbing.
Yeah. When they're ebbing. The market's always a predictor.
Or
So
I'm
I can
sorry,
see
flowing and
airlines.
ebbing is going up. My bad.
Yeah. I could see that, being a predictor with airlines. Okay, 6 months out, January to May, the market's kind of betting that we're going to have a great travel period. And then, for the summer, and then October through December is that last quarter of the absorption of, okay, how good was that quarter? And that may be where the stocks go up. So I guess I get where this is going now. where it's predicting all that stuff ahead of time. It's interesting though, like real estate, that is really the big season for real estate. Is that July to September? Everybody's moving prior to that. Telecom, I don't really get telecom anyhow.
I'll tell you, this is interesting. Retail, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is, the holidays are the last 6 weeks of the year, right? That's when they're making their money. Why does by November 29th, right after Thanksgiving, hey, it cuts off? People are still buying up to Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the interesting thing. Everything peters off. They get rid of all their seasonal workers right after Christmas, beginning of January. Why from January 21st to April 12th is that cyclically, seasonally good with retail? Because typically that's when all the sales are happening to blow out all the inventory that didn't sell during the holiday season.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, like I said, I think it's more of a predictor. So that October to November, they're predicting, okay, this is where we think it's going to be a good year. So the stocks are going up. Then December, there's always those kind of ancillary reports that come out. So the stocks are all over the fence because I invest in some real estate or in some retail. And I've seen that from the stocks during that time period where you have a company that has been doing exceptionally well, and every report that it has, it's really well, but it can be all over the fence in December, and then January through, all of a sudden it's, oh, this is the reality now. They had an amazing Christmas time or had an amazing whatever late December period or late November period.
Yeah. So I think this is interesting, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a trader, right? My goal when I get a client into an investment, I got a 3 to 5 year horizon line, unless there's something there, but you don't want to be less than a year because of capital gains and non-tax advantage accounts. But this is something very interesting that if through seasonality and cyclicality, there are certain times of the year where investments make sense. It's something to keep an eye on, and probably should revisit it at some point during this year to see how much some of this holds true.
Yeah, exactly. And is it just a weird anomaly for the last 10 years or something like that? Has it been longer? I'm a rules-based trader, so I have very specific rules that we follow, and we're gonna follow what's going on in the markets. But yeah, I've never really paid attention that much to some of this intricate data like that. Once again, it's another little tweak in the
if you're a portfolio manager and specifically a market strategist, a lot of that stuff makes sense. I get that. And you're trying to, at the end of the day, fundamentals identify when good opportunities, technicals tell you when you should get in.
Yeah.
Right. And you amalgamate the two together. And then certainly throwing seasonality in there combines the two together.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, I've never paid attention to that stuff. I've watched the higher level version of that you showed at the beginning, that chart that we've all used for years. I've used that higher end version of it to just see where things are at, but I've never gotten into the granular detail like you did. So thanks for that. It's very,
No,
very
like
intriguing.
I said, every week we got to do something a little different, but it's good to revisit some of this stuff too.
Yeah. Awesome. It's a good week. I think tomorrow, April 5th, is going to be interesting because
unemployment number.
We got non-farm payrolls, average earnings, unemployment rate, average work week, consumer credit. So it's going to be a lot of information, and a lot of those are high trading impact for the market. So
and corporate earnings start end of next week.
Of course. God, it seems like we just got done with earnings season and we're right back to it.
We did.
It's a never-ending process. Folks, thanks for joining us. As always, make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you give us an upvote. Let us know that you're out there, and let's have some conversations. Let's have some discussions online as well, and we'll share those with everybody else as we go. So thanks a lot for joining us, and we will see you here